Hello everyone, VG Time back with another deck profile. This time we're talking about the announcer leader. Now, I said in my Hercule deck profile, I believe this guy was extremely powerful but had the lowest ceiling. And I'm going to actually take that back. The reason for that change is because of the new 60 card limit that you're allowed to have on the deck. And that extra 10 cards actually, I believe, makes him far more powerful than he was before. So I'm just going to give you a heads up, this deck profile is going to be a little longer because of the amount of cards there are, as well as cards that do things that a lot of people haven't seen before, so it'll be a little bit more explanation. So let's go over the leader itself and sort of his history. So the leader has been a fan favorite for a while. Very powerful main deck. The big issue that people always had with it was that the card pool he had at his disposal was limited. So as such, you could not take advantage of certain things. So let's get into his effects. He has two permanents. The first of which is that he removes the specified cost of World Tournament battle cards. That means you can use any color that you want to pay for them. The second permanent is that all your battle cards had to be World Tournament. So this is where the issue kind of came into play in the past. There were certain cards that you needed to run on your side deck to have a chance in tournaments that you just could not run in this deck. So you had to run strictly worse options, much broader options that didn't quite do the same thing as the powerful silver bullets. Now, the reason why I mentioned that issue was in the past is because a lot of those silver bullets have either been banned or the cards that it was used to hold back have been banned. So you no longer have to worry about having to run Cronoa on your side because Shugash is banned. You don't have to worry about having to run Mercenary Tao and Tian Shenhan on the side because they're both banned. You don't have to worry about the mass sand because it also got banned as far as the energy destruction one. So if you look at it like that, and the way the game is trying to steer people towards running these broader, more generic answers, announcer will do just fine in that kind of scenario. There are slight gaps in this game, but a lot of that can be handled with decent side decking. Now, he has an auto once per turn, and this is what made him a very powerful leader. That says that when you play a World Tournament battle card, you draw a card. And it doesn't matter whose turn is on, it's just whatever the first World Tournament battle card played for that turn is, you draw a card. Then you awaken at 4 or less life, and when you did, you untap 2 energy and you turn them over. On the backside, he becomes announcer, referee, veteran. This is definitely his worst side, but he helps close out a game. He has the same permanent where he removes specified costs. That's very important because it would have been disastrous if he didn't have that. And then he has an auto when he attacks, he draws a card, and an activate main that you could choose 2 World Tournament battle cards that you control, give them both plus 5k, and you negate the skill for the rest of the game. So like I say, you kind of just use that ability to close out a game by pumping extra 10k across a couple of guys. So this is my first 60 card deck. So let's just hammer through this. First things first, we have 4 copies of Announcer Play-by-Play Pro. This guy right here is extremely important to the deck as far as like his overall function. One is a counter attack, so you get to negate the attack and play him. By doing that, you get to trigger the auto ability of your leader on your opponent's turn to be able to draw a card. That's pretty important. Then it has an auto that if you play it on your turn and you have 2 other World Tournament battle cards in play, you get to draw 2 cards. And of course, if he happens to be the first card you play that turn, you end up drawing 3. So he just an amazing card. 3 copies of Announcer Ever Curious. This is your top 7 searcher. We'd love to play him at 4, but I don't think it's really necessary to play him at 4. Uh, he searches top 7 for a World Tournament battle card, which is every battle card in his deck. And he adds it to your hand. Now, as we saw in the Oob deck profile, World Tournament is based around pairings. So let's start off with our first one. 4 copies of Master Roshi Martial Meister and 4 copies of Master Shen Martial Meister. They both do the same thing. They rest the other one in their pair to draw a card. They both have barrier, they're both 6K. This is the budget player's draw engine, or at least it was. Some other cards came up since then to help withdraw. But these guys are amazing. A lot of people might see the 6K and not really understand it, but the main thing is that the thing about them is 6K is effectively 10K on defense. So they're really 1-drop 10K with barrier that rests each other to draw a card. So your opponent has to actually invest cards from their hand in the earlier section of the game to try to remove them from the table. And because you run 4 each, you could sometimes just let one die, play another one, draw a card off your leader, and then draw 2 more cards. And that just feels bad. Next pair. 4 copies of Awkward Situation Trunks. And 4 copies of his best buddy, Awkward Situation Otoski. As we remember from the Oob deck profile, this is a good piece of removal, basically outs anything without barrier or indestructible. Trunks pays for 2, Otoski plays for free as long as you have the Trunks. Trunks could put the Otoski on the bottom of the deck once per turn to pop a battle card. So, it allows you to have some aggro as well as some removal. Next pair. 3 copies of Test of Strength Goku, 3 copies of Test of Strength Oob. This one right here is a lot of things for the deck as well. The Goku Oob combo has always been pretty powerful. It gets a little less powerful now just because of the sheer amount of counterplays that exists. But if you time it right and your opponent's shields are a little down, you could do some really cool things with this. So Goku Oob, Goku plays Oob for free basically when you play the Goku, and give them both plus 5K. So you end up with a 20K double striker and a 20K crit. Then on top of that, Oob, when he comes to the play at zero, Goku takes 2 of your opponent's battle cards with 20K power or less and shuffles them into their deck. So he also acts as removal. Now the card that makes this deck come together and makes it so much better than it used to be is 4 copies of this Bobby. This guy right here is what the deck was kind of missing. Now granted, again, it's a 4-drop. It's hard to just rely upon it and cast it. But you can hope that you catch your opponent slipping. If you do, great. If not, oh well, it is what it is. But if you catch your opponent slipping, you can slip this guy onto the table. He basically helps you win the game right there. He has 2 autos. The first auto is that when you play him, you get to search your deck for a Supreme Showdown Vegeta and put it into play. Then his second auto is that if he's placed in the drop area by a skill, you could choose all your red World Tournament battle cards and they cannot be KO'd this turn. That has huge amounts of synergy with the next pairing, which is 3 copies of Supreme Showdown Vegeta and 3 copies of Supreme Showdown Son Goku. The way this kind of is going to work is that you want to have the Goku in your hand when you play that Bobby. The Vegeta, when it comes into play, has an effect that it will sack a World Tournament battle card to make it so that your opponent cannot activate blocker. He's a 25K triple striker, and if the Goku is on the table, he gives the Goku plus 10K. The Goku effect says that if the Vegeta sends a battle card to the drop area with its skill, you get to play the Goku for free. The Goku is also a 25k triple striker, and he gives 10k to the Vegeta. So the Goku and the Vegeta, when they're on the table together, are both 35k triple strikers. Due to the Vegeta effect, your opponent cannot use blockers on them, and due to the Bobby effect, they also cannot be KO'd in combat. So it gives them somewhat of a freedom. Granted, if you're going against things like blue-green or mono-blue, you might want to be a little bit more careful because they have bouncing and tucking effects and stuff like that you got to worry about. But there's still two 35k triple strikers that your opponent has to be able to combo out of or have hard negates for both of them in order for them not to die. Also, if you happen to be on this side of your leader, you can pump them up to 40. So making them 40k, you see what I'm talking about. It's just pretty powerful. If your opponent does live through them though, there's another card that came out as a promo, which is 2 copies of King Piccolo Limitless Power. This guy right here, I believe, was meant to be a mirror breaker, but he is also just an amazing backup finisher. He's a 20k double striker for 4. But he's actually free because he has a activate main that allows you to send 2 World Tournament battle cards on the field to the drop area to play them from your hand, but you can only play 1 for the turn. So let's say they comboed out everything and they got through those attacks and they are down to like 2 left. You can just make this guy win the game, or basically you could just make this guy win the game. Next up, we have the ultimate. So if for some reason the game just goes really long, which is just one more turn, like one or 2 more turns, because this guy's effectively a 6-drop, he will just always end the game, assuming that they don't, crush or ball it or frost deadly poison it. He has double strike, dual attack. He's a 40k, and he has an auto that when he swings, he automatically takes a life and an energy and puts it at the bottom of your opponent's deck in any order. So he's guaranteed, if he's allowed to attack, to be at least 2 life. And then your opponent has to be able to counter out of 2 40k swings. Let's see. So as far as utility, super combo, we played 4 copies of this Kid Goku. This guy right here, like every other World Tournament, super combo is interchangeable. I'm playing the yellow one because of side deck options that I want to partake in. But you could easily run like the Gohan if you wanted more blue, the Vegeta if you wanted more red, the Chi-Chi if you wanted to even experiment with green. There are some green options you could run inside here. Though most of the green is tied to having a green World Tournament leader, you could do stuff like Popo Kami and things like that, which are all, decent engines. Chi-Chi Goku, stuff like that. Popo Kami has the upside of being able to use Heroes Mafuba as a side deck option, so it might actually come up, in which case you run the Chi-Chi super combo to help make sure you have the green. Works when you're at 5 or less life, draw a card. So, for Self-Awakening, we play these 3 copies of Pan. Sadly, other than one other combo, which is not really an amazing combo because it's a 2-card combo and they don't play each other, this is your only way of Self-Awakening in World Tournament. So the great thing about her is that she returns to your hand at the end of the turn, so she kind of protects herself. And because you have to cast her each time you want to use her to awaken, you trigger your leader effect to be able to draw a card. So there's, some upside to it. Another counterattack we're playing is Mr. Boo, the Mischievous. This guy right here could easily be Videl, but I chose to go with Mr. Boo because he has a twinge of an upside, which is that if your opponent is playing one of those really early rush down decks with the little guys and they're trying to kill you on like turn 2 or something like that, Boo will prevent that from happening. Then we have, for counterplay, 2 copies of Mutaito's Skill of the Sage. This guy right here was the big power card that came from the power booster, for World Tournament. He has since lost favor because people went to multicolor and run Champa the Trickster. He might actually see play again because people are more favoring monocolor. So if you're playing like some yellow deck, you may not want to splash the blue. Say you just want to run Mutaito. They kind of run the same. They usually hit around the same cards. Mutaito is more narrow, but has a slightly more powerful effect. So just to give you a heads up, has a counter play so that you play him, and he has an auto when he comes into play where you can send him to the drop area to choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost greater than their current energy, ignoring barrier, switch it to rest mode, and that card cannot restand until the beginning of your next turn. So it helps you get around like those cards that restand other cards. Like if they put out a Heartfelt Plea and they're only at 3 energy, and you counterplay with Mutaito, you get to tap the Heartfelt Plea and not have to worry about the pan that they also play with it, untapping the Heartfelt Plea. He's effectively Champa in his deck because he still gets the card draw, just like Champa does because of your leader effect. So overall, a good card. Extra cards. I know a lot of people are shying away from extra cards because of the Gotenks leader, and if that comes up to be a thing, then you can adjust his deck accordingly. There's just a lot of options. But extra cards, 1 copy of the World Tournament Arena. If this card didn't board in what it did, then I would actually run more of it. But all it does is have an Activate Bane where you can rest it and give 2 of your battle cards plus 5k. And let me just make sure one thing real quick. Yeah, it also is locked to the announcer leader. So that's the other reason, why you don't really see it too much. But it just gives 2 of your World Tournament battle cards plus 5k. Cool thing about it though is that it's free, so you're not really burning energy to do that. Run a decent amount of blue, so 4 copies of Bean. You kind of want it. I see why people might want to cut it down to like 3 or even cut it out of deck, but I would rather give my opponent that 1 card draw to then combo 1 less on every attack they make. So if you look at it like that, I gave them 1 card to save maybe 3 cards out of my hand. That's a positive swing on your side. And then lastly, 4 copies of Power Burst. This right here combos really well with the announcer leader because of how powerful announcer play-by-play pro is. It gives you negate loops. It gives you the ability to just get that negate off, get back to play-by-play pro, follow a turn, play to play-by-play pro, draw 3 cards. It's just an amazing card. But otherwise, this negate just like any other has sparking, so you can take a life instead of paying its cost. So here's my 60 card announcer deck. Probably is going to be my deck for the first locals I play. I have other decks coming up. I still have Jackie Chun to complete in the World Tournament Series, which I should be able to get to you guys either by this weekend or early next week. Thank you for watching today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out other videos on this channel and follow me on Instagram at the name below in the description. This is VG Time, signing out.